Hopefully it doesn't pick it up, but well.
Oh well.
If you guys don't know, we have 3 kids and we're trying to film this before we go on a trip. And they're all not sleeping. So, anywho, we are on section number 2 of our Israeli series. So if you haven't watched the first video, please go watch that one first. Today we are talking about mostly Theodor Herzl. Theodor Herzl was born May 2nd, 1860 in Budapest, Hungary, as a non-religious Hungarian Jew. He became a prominent journalist and traveled Europe with news articles, first for Die Newsfriz. I'll put what he did. I can't pronounce other languages very well.
So, the main start of his journey is he went his news company sent him to Paris to cover the Dreyfus affair, which is where they had this French colonel who happened to be Jewish, and they accused him for being a spy. So in other words, stealing state secrets and sending it to France's enemies. So they had a trial on it, and Theodor Herzl originally showed up and kind of heard a little bit of it, and he thought Dreyfus was guilty. And after a while, he kept hearing more of the stuff kept coming out and recording more of it, and he came to the conclusion that Dreyfus was not guilty. He was innocent. And one day he was sitting out on his balcony at his hotel, and he heard the crowd chanting, "Kill the Jew."
Does that sound familiar?
Yeah. So at that moment, he realized this wasn't about whether Dreyfus was innocent or guilty. It was about whether he was a Jew or not. And that kind of sparked his journey into solving the problem of Jews basically being in Europe surrounded by communities that off and on again basically go against them.
Basically, he spent the rest of his life after this petitioning to governments and the elite Jews to put pressure on the Ottoman Empire to allow the Jews a semi-autonomous state in their homeland.
Yeah.
So basically, the Jews need to be in their home. They need a safe place for them.
Yeah, and they can run it themselves and not worry about pogroms happening to them every couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
At least that was the hope. Most of the elite Jews scoffed at him, so he was unable to get the backing of the elite Jews. I forgot the name of the elite Jew. Rothschild. There you go. Rothschilds was one of them. He petitioned himself, and the Rothschilds wanted nothing to do with him. And the Rothschilds were some of the richest Jews in Europe.
You'd think they'd want that.
No. Well, they were basically non-religious, and they just ran their companies and made tons of money off it. So the Jewish problem wasn't their problem.
I suppose.
They were just rich people. And they had a lot of money.
And during all this, he wrote a book called The State of Israel. And the book sold out. And this was much to his surprise. And also to his surprise, mostly to the lower class in the Jewish community. He thought more upper middle class would read it, and it ended up being all the lower class people. But they were probably the most affected by this not having their own homeland. Just like how the Rothschilds could have cared less.
Yeah, probably. I guess I don't really know, but they're the ones that get scoffed at the most and have pogroms the most to them. So then he went on a little book tours basically to talk about the state of Israel and try to promote, Israeli sovereignty, their homeland in, Palestine or the Ottoman territory, their homeland. And he went on a little trip to Russia. To his surprise, he obviously went on train. That's a popular way to travel. Basically the only way to travel at that time.
Pretty much.
And there were crowds of Jews surrounding his train at several stops, and he was surprised to see how popular he was in Russia.
He was basically a celebrity.
Yeah. And they were all from the lower classes. Well, when he came back home, the lower classes also, surrounded his house, much like a celebrity would have. His wife didn't really like that. She was definitely a part of the uppity class people and looked down on these people as like filth and rubble, and she did not want them anywhere near her house.
I'm kind of surprised though, because Theodor Herzl, given what he did and all of his fan base, you wonder why he married her.
Yeah, when I was reading into that, I was kind of like, how can two so completely different people well, I guess they didn't really live together. He traveled a lot.
Yeah, that could be.
But yeah,
I guess it's kind of funny because relationship problems, like, Republicans and Democrats now, you still have couples where they have completely opposite views, and you're like, how are you guys together? And it's just kind of funny seeing, even back then there was so many differing opinions, and
well,
they made it work, I guess.
Well, sometimes he would go on a business trip and he'd come back to a different house because she would buy a different house with her inheritance from her family.
Oh.
She ended up burning both of their inheritance within her life.
She seems fun. Seems like a girl.
Because she kept going up and up in the higher class homes.
Oh, that's funny. But because of this book and the popularity and the movement he got from it, he decided to organize this into a political movement and created the first Zionist Congress in Basel, Switzerland in 1897. Would you like to give the people a definition of Zionism for those of you who seem to not know what Zionism is? I'm sure most of you do, but
basically it's just the belief that the Jews have a homeland. That's it.
And I think it's crazy that, we've seen, I've seen on X, oh, we don't allow Zionism here. Oh, you don't allow Jewish people to have their own homeland? That's such a... It's so weird for them to use it as, a bad thing. Well, we wouldn't tell the French people, sorry, you can't have your own homeland. You can't have France.
Well, it'd be almost like saying... a bar putting up a sign saying no patriots here. It's like, what do you mean by patriots? Oh, loyal Americans.
Yeah.
I mean, it's basically that absurd. And then there's people out there that use Zionism as a, I don't know how to say it, evil organization.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, the evil Zionists.
And it's just like, these are just people that believe in a homeland for the Jews.
Mm-hmm. It's just the left trying to change definitions again, it feels like.
Well, I don't know if that term initially, that use is on all sides. It wasn't really on the left only.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, and then Theodor Herzl, in his petitioning, got to meet Wilhelm II. So, the guy in charge of Germany. Pretty important country at this time.
Mm-hmm.
He actually got to see him and meet him. And he traveled with him in Palestine to try to pressure the Sultan to give them a homeland or a semi-autonomous state. Well, Theodor Herzl never got to see the Sultan, so it went nowhere.
Good try.
But it was a lot further than I thought it, especially when you look at the timeline. That's pretty far.
Yeah. Considering Theodor Herzl isn't really like in charge of anything, he's more of a celebrity really at this time.
Well, just a celebrity of the Jews mainly.
Mm-hmm.
And the peasant class, not even of the rich, wealthy people. Like, rich, wealthy people can pull levers to get you to meet, people of power.
Yep.
Well, Theodor Herzl got to meet people of power basically through popularity of the masses.
Mm-hmm.
Not even, and it wasn't even that many masses, it's just the Jewish communities.
Yep.
And then the British government came to Theodor Herzl and said, well, we can give you a homeland in British East Africa. And there was a massive pogrom in Russia that killed 48 people and over 500 were injured. And after that, Theodor Herzl was kind of like, sure, anywhere but Europe. We will get out of here. I will accept your homeland. Even though it's not in Palestine, the traditional biblical homeland of the Jews. So he just wanted to get the Jews out of Europe before something bad happened. Turns out something bad does happen. A couple of generations later, but yeah. Well, he brought this up in the Congress? The Zionist Congress. And they were no. They wanted nowhere but Israel, the homeland itself.
Kind of makes sense.
Which makes sense. I mean, he's a non-religious Jew, and if you ask any religious Jew, they have traditions and customs, especially during Passover, about, next year we're doing this in Israel.
That, as well as the fact that they're all in Europe. They would all have to travel to a completely different...
Well, the ones he's talking to are, yeah.
Yeah. Just, yeah. Well, especially with the Zionist Congress, they're based in Europe, obviously. Mm-hmm. It really wouldn't make a lot of sense for them to do that.
All the way to East Africa? It's quite a ways away.
Yeah. Theodor Herzl died at the age of 44 in 1904, which is very young considering everything he had accomplished. Yeah. In 1949, his remains were brought from Vienna, Austria, to Mount Herzl in Israel, where his remains can still be visited today.
Theodor Herzl is considered one of the, founding fathers of Israel, because he basically reintroduced in the modern age a concept of, or popular movement of, let's all return to the homeland.
Reinvigorated the spirit of the Jews.
He reinvigorated the spirit of the Jews to enter the homeland. Theodor Herzl Day is celebrated nationally as a national holiday in Israel on May 8th.
Yeah, so it's, people are like, oh, this, that, and the other thing, but he's obviously very influential in the making of Israel.
Well, he's almost a George Washington figure. I mean, he didn't actually rule Israel at all.
Yeah.
Because Israel didn't exist until basically 40 years later.
Yeah, it's sad because you wish he would have gotten to see the actual making of the homeland, but it wasn't too far away.
Yeah, well, he wouldn't have
over
lived,
40 some years.
Wouldn't have lived long enough even if he did live.
Oh, yeah, if he was like 100 maybe.
Maybe.
But
of course, some bad things happen in between then and now, so yeah. And then I guess one thing you always hear is that the evil Rothschilds always are involved in the creation of the state of Israel, and it's a horrible place because the bad Rothschilds, well, judging by this history, they basically had nothing to do with it in the beginning.
They basically wanted nothing to do with it.
Yeah, so this entire thing was done by the lower classes.
Yep.
The Jews themselves.
The Jews that were getting persecuted.
Mm-hmm. Wanted a homeland, wanted somewhere to be safe, wanted somewhere where they can protect themselves. And if you look at the news today, they are protecting themselves.
Yep.
They got exactly that.
Yep. And it's not a big area.
No.
But it's theirs.
Yeah, it is theirs.
So, we will hopefully see you again in a week or two, or longer. We have a lot of kids for part 3. But give us a like, subscribe, share. Anything else to add?
Let's see, like, subscribe, share,
comment. Keep your comments to yourself if they're hateful. I'm just kidding. I don't really care.
I would say maybe just post some of your own stuff.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, as this flag says, can't cancel all of us.
Tom McDonald, we love you.